Will Wagner launch an attack on the Kremlin? Is Putin scared? I brought up this topic yesterday on my stream, specifically about Prigozhin's death, but I want to highlight this news in the main episode. The streams happen regularly and we cover events in real time, so for those who can't wait for new episodes, I warmly invite you. You know what needs to be done: like the video, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to stay updated on all the latest news. I think many already know that yesterday a plane belonging to Prigozhin crashed over the Tver region. According to preliminary information, there were 7 passengers and 3 crew members on board. All of them died. Witnesses report that Prigozhin's plane exploded in mid-air during the flight. And late in the evening, it was reported that the bodies of 8 deceased had been found. Russian media report that the bodies of Prigozhin and his assistant have already been identified. But I guess it's all clear here: Prigozhin has been taken care of. Putin, as always, played it very cleverly. First, he showed that he had reached an agreement with him, and then, at a convenient moment, he simply removed him. Late in the evening, information appeared on the Russian federal channel Russia 24 that Yevgeny Prigozhin had died.
Возвращаемся к авиакатастрофе в Тверской области. Следственный комитет возбудил дело о нарушении правил безопасности. Напомню, там потерпел катастрофу частный самолет, летевший из Москвы в Санкт-Петербург. Погибли 10 человек. Среди пассажиров значился Евгений Пригожин.
This is the first official announcement at the federal level about his death. Meanwhile, Putin urgently left Kursk and, according to British intelligence, made a rare visit to the headquarters of the Southern Military District in Rostov, which is 160 kilometers away from the front line, to demonstrate his power. It is reported that Putin held a meeting with senior officers, including the chief of the General Staff of the Russian Federation, General Valery Gerasimov, who continues to command the operation in Ukraine. Referring to the capture of the headquarters in Rostov, which oversees the war in Ukraine by Wagner Group in June, the agency suggests that the Russian president most likely wants to demonstrate his power and show that the high military command functions as usual. Therefore, in the near future, we can expect very interesting news about Wagner's assault on the Kremlin. They will gather together and decide what to do next. Before the death was confirmed, they made a statement.
Разговоров идет о том, чем будет заниматься Вагнер в данной ситуации. Мы скажем одно: мы уже стартуем. Ждите нас.
This was to be expected as Putin removes anyone who dares to go against him. Even Strelkov, who was very patriotic and expressed opposition to the authorities, is already in prison. The purge in Russia is in full swing, but what all this will lead to is very difficult to say for now. And if you still have doubts about Russia's involvement in Prigozhin's death, here is today's statement from the president of Ukraine.
Ви знаєте, коли Україна говорила і зверталась до країн світу щодо літаків, ми не це мали на увазі. Я скажу вам відверто. Ми мали на увазі зовсім інше, і ми хотіли підтримку, хоча, напевно, це також в якомусь сенсі слова точно допоможуть. А що стосується, по-перше, ми не маємо відношення до цієї ситуації. Це точно. Я думаю, всі усвідомлюють, хто має відношення.
So, my friends, I believe we've dedicated enough time to this topic. Therefore, I suggest moving on to the frontline update. Believe me, there is also plenty to talk about here. In the Zaporizhia direction, the Ukrainian armed forces managed to completely liberate the settlement of Rabotine. It's reported that our fighters raised the flag over the village. This was done by the soldiers of the 47th Separate Mechanized Brigade, who are fighting on one of the hottest fronts. The blue and yellow flag with the signature of the Supreme Commander was raised on the destroyed school previously occupied by Russian forces on the day of the state flag, as noted by the brigade. Previously, the fighters of the 47th Brigade entered Wagner in a fierce battle. This means the liberation of Ukrainian territory continues. Of course, nothing is left of the village. However, the territory is under the control of our units. The occupiers are currently only conducting shelling along the entire front line. In the Vuhledar direction, the situation remains unchanged. There is ongoing artillery exchange and tactical battles here, but there are no assault operations and the front line remains stable. In the Kherson direction, the Russians continue their shelling. However, as we've already seen from yesterday's reports from the occupied, their situation is very poor. The Ukrainian forces are gaining control over more and more territory, and the Russians can't do anything about it. This is certainly encouraging, which means there will soon be new successes on the left bank. In the area of Kupiansk, the occupiers are only carrying out shelling. All of their operations and plans to capture Kupiansk have failed. Now, after suffering significant losses, the occupiers are regrouping. We are waiting to see how events will unfold from here. In the area of Svatovo, shelling continues as well, and the situation along the front line remains maximally stable. In the direction of Crimea and Siversk, the occupiers are not ceasing their shelling and seem to be preparing for new offensive operations. And we already know how all of this ends, and the Ukrainian forces are prepared to meet them. In the Bakhmut direction, all of Prigozhin's successes have gone in vain. The Ukrainian forces have already cut off the flanks, and although their front line has stalled for now, the Ukrainian forces are conducting artillery preparation of the territory for further advances to encircle Bakhmut. So we wait and see. In the Avdiivka direction, the occupiers are still attempting sporadic breakthroughs towards Avdiivka. They haven't achieved any success, therefore the front line remains unchanged. Further south in Marinka, battles continues and shelling persists not only along the front line but also up to 10 kilometers deep into the territory. Also, today there is active discussion about what will happen to Crimea after their occupation. Since everything seems to be leading to the point where the Ukrainian forces could press the Russians and advance to Crimea by the end of the year. But this is not certain yet.
Що Крим буде після деокупації повністю без, так я просто чув, що хтось каже, що це буде просто туристичний оазіс. Це не є правдою, і ніхто більше не дозволить мати можливість окупувати Крим, тому флот буде, якщо коротко, і захищеність військова Крима буде, але український захист. Щодо деокупації Криму і презентації, я не впевнений, що ми вправі сьогодні говорити про військову деокупацію Криму публічно.
Today, it was also announced that units of the Ukrainian military intelligence carried out a landing operation in Crimea as part of a special operation on the Tarkhankut Peninsula. This was confirmed by a representative of Ukrainian military intelligence, Yusuf. According to him, all tasks within the framework of the special operation were completed. By the way, this is the same peninsula where the S-400 were destroyed yesterday. Russian telegram channels are already reporting that no one was killed and the Ukrainian sabotage and reconnaissance group returned without losses. Media reported that explosions were heard near the settlement of Mayak on the Tarkhankut Peninsula from 5 in the morning. The village of Mayak houses the base of the 3rd Radio Technical Regiment. Additionally, the Tarkhankut Peninsula houses the Nebo-M radar node and the Kasta 2E2 radar system. During the execution of the task, Ukrainian soldiers clashed with enemy units. As a result, the opponents suffered losses among personnel and hostile equipment was destroyed. Moreover, the Ukrainian flag reappeared in Ukrainian Crimea. All goals and tasks were achieved. After completing the special operation, Ukrainian defenders left the scene without losses. The reconnaissance emphasized that the complex of measures as part of the special operation in occupied Crimea continues. A series of actions are underway. It's not just a one-day story, but a long-term operation. Yesterday, the S-400 complex was destroyed in Olenivka. Today, a landing operation took place in Mayak. The operation continues, so details are not available yet. But overall, this is a comprehensive effort that demonstrates that in Crimea, we can achieve successes not only with weapons, but also with personal involvement. And that's all from me. Don't forget to support the channel with a like and comment. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.